Mr. Kelly
Here.
and Mr. Freeman.
Here. All right, let's do this. Since we're just a little bit early, I'm gonna hold the business off for a second.
Okay.
If you guys could begin the meeting and let everybody know, give an update on storm damage, storm activities, and how the township has been actually moving forward. And then we'll get into the real agenda then.
So the National Weather Service did confirm it was a tornado. The news is reporting it was rated as an EF1, but I've not gotten that back yet from the National Weather Service. They did come out last night. I took them around their team along with the county EMA director to survey the damage, assess the area. Looks like we have about 75 structures that were impacted to some degree, from just affected to minor, couple with some major damage, but nothing catastrophic, fortunately.
That's good.
A couple with some roof damage. Right before the meeting, I did get a text message from our Duke representative that all of the affected customers in the area, the power has been restored, which is a tremendous feat given the amount of tree damage and power line damage that was down. Mr. McCarthy, I think you had an estimated number of outages.
Yeah, there were 1,000 plus at meeting. It's down.
Oh, that's good.
So we worked all afternoon and into the evening last night with our departments, other departments, our partners. Service department just knocked it out of the park with their staff bringing equipment. Tremendous amount of resident support, volunteer support, bringing tractors out, buckets, a couple of the local tree companies helping clear. We were focused on clearing past to get to structures to check on people. A lot of volunteers were helping do that work for us so we could focus on, and I'm thrilled to report that we're not aware of a single injury out of the incident. The damage is pretty much concentrated to Pond Run, Wilson Dunham, Fagans Run, Parker's Run, Twin Ridge, Spresser Hill areas. Go just down the road and there's not even a branch. So very, very fortunate and lucky. This is our second one that last one was in 2017. Always significant, but in the grand scheme of tornadoes, very lucky that the impact was as minimal as it was. Unless service, please, if you have anything else to add.
The police department handled about 26 calls between 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock. 10 of those were related to storm damage. While that was going on, we were still getting other calls, normal police calls, including somebody that had to be arrested and taken to jail while the storm was hitting. So, yeah.
I do want to thank also our partners in the county, our local government partners. I know during the event we were taxed, to say the least. We had assistance from Union Township, Central Joint, and New Richmond helping us cover some of the runs. Central Joint staffed an extra engine and kept it available to help handle the other details that weren't storm related. And I had calls from Williamsburg, from Bethel, from Monroe Township, all over offering their employees and their folks. I know the service was the same. Batavia Township came out today. I know Tate Township offered.
Right.
So it's just absolutely wonderful and a huge relief when our other partners come to give us a hand. And it's also why we go and help the other communities when they're impacted. It's just returning those favors.
Norm, what you got for us?
Yeah, so our guys, I think they did a great job yesterday getting started and getting the roads opened up as best as they could, where there wasn't wires and stuff in the way. They were out today clearing, getting trees out of the right of ways where they've been pushed back. We got to a lot of stuff on Fagans and Spresser. There was still lots of wires, and there was tons of Duke and trucks and stuff out there. So we had a hard time getting to that area, which is probably the hardest hit area. So we're hoping that we can get in there tomorrow and start getting that cleaned up. But yeah, I wanted to thank Batavia Township. They were out today, said they'll be there tomorrow or however long we need them. Actually, Miami Township, Tate Township have all offered to come help too. So we really appreciate it.
That was kind of them, really was. Does anybody have any questions of the crew? Seeing none, I guess we can thank you guys for, the sleepless nights and all that you guys have been doing to get this thing taken care of. So thank you very much. So now we can start with the original meeting. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Norm, I didn't forget you. It's you. Now, it's a lot of spirit.
I got it.
Come on, you got this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, guys, what'd you think? Did Norm do a pretty good job this time? Yeah, let's give him a clap. Good job, Norm. This is kind of an inside joke. We had a public hearing followed by a township meeting. And I made him do the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, he's actually, don't tell him this, but he's a little bit shy. And so he did an okay job, but I kept after him and he did it pretty good today. Good job. Thank you. All right. So, Debbie, approval of the minutes.
Okay, I request a motion for approval of the regular meeting minutes on June 10th, the special meetings / work session on June 25th, the budget hearing on July 14th, and then the special meeting after that on July 14th.
So moved.
Seconded. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
It's short.
I know, it was quick. So it passes. We move on. Let's do now, what I am going to do though, because we do the departmental updates and then I'm going to call up the folks that are concerned about White Oak so that you guys can hop on up here, get your thoughts in on the issue of White Oak so that before we get started on our agenda, just in case you don't want to hang out for another 2 hours, if that's okay. Yes, sir.
Of the plate reading camera in front of Bridgeway Baptist
Okay.
Church.
Okay, let's do this. If we don't have any objections, do you mind if we amend the agenda and let's do the public involvement or the public comment section right now? So we'll just move that part up on our agenda. So why don't you come on up and we'll do public comment. What's that?
Motion to amend.
I don't think we need to do a motion.
Just make.
Yeah, just be able to do it. So we're going to do public comment right now. It's up to you. If you guys want to stay for the whole meeting, no problem. But we're just going to do that in case you guys, want to get out of here. Because we're not the most exciting people to hang out with.
Well, I'm Mark Williams
Huh?
and been here before talking about the intersection at State Route 125 and White Oak Road, which also has the intersection of Lewis there. I've been talking with Tom Marta at ODOT up in Lebanon, and he's done the studies. To say that the intersection's a disaster.
Right.
And so he went and he looked for money through the state and they didn't find any. I guess their grant was not received well. So we've still got this horrifying intersection. I mean, you've got traffic coming from you north, south, east, and west, and a few other directions if you count the people that go through Super Sam's to supersede the intersection there. So it's been that way for 47 years that I've lived back there. And when they built the Kroger store, they should have had Kroger's at that time put that intersection together, because it has just exasperated the problem to just all, it's terrible. And I know that if you say there are other
I was
intersections,
just giving you crap.
that intersection has got to be probably the worst thing Claremont County has to offer.
I think Davis Road is probably close second, but it is second.
What is it?
Davis Road.
Oh.
Davis Road has that weird, if you take 9 Mile, it's got that weird, two-way
That hump it,
swing. Yeah. So, but
right.
I'm not arguing.
But anyway, so I just, we were here maybe a year ago. Yeah, it's right about that. And I just wanted to ask what y'all have done to move forward on getting this intersection repaired. Right now, they're doing a lot of, I guess they're putting a water line in there. I look and I think, wouldn't that have been the time to do something instead of having to do it twice?
Right.
But that would have just been my thought. So, and I know I'm simplistic, so.
No, I think that's not simplistic. I think it's common sense. But we are talking about White Oak is a county road, and a county project
Lewis is a
is a township road.
road,
Right.
and 125 is a state road.
Right.
But,
I only
47
mentioned that.
years
Right.
doesn't make it right yet.
No,
That
I'm
it's
not,
been
I'm
ignored.
not, just so you
Well,
understand,
but-
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that would have been a moment for the county to have helped us move forward. We see it. We have been talking about this at least as long as I've been here, trying to find a solution for that. And the issue always comes down to the same thing, comes down to money. How do we get and where do we get? So ODOT was our best shot to get money, but it's not our only shot to get money. So we're still trying to find a way to get the lump sum, because I think the most simplistic version
85,000.
was about 85,000. So getting the lump of the 85, and then if we can find most grants, now I'm going to get nerdy. Okay. So I apologize in advance. But a lot of the grants that are out there, a lot of the funding that's available is an 80-20 split. So if we were able to get an 80-20 split on some sort of grant, that would make it so we could do even more work on that site. So we're not just looking at a base project, we're actually looking at a much more robust project that solves the entire problem. My concern with the $85,000 version is that it's just a patch that gets us through till we have another problem later on. And I don't want that. I don't think my colleagues want that either. We want a solution that's going to last for
Yeah.
47 years.
I may diverge from you a little bit on that, but I would be fine with the 85 personally. The problem with the big projects is they never come to fruition. It's like,
I don't know.
you
I
gotta
beg to
find the
differ.
money to get
Quite
5 other
honestly, I
people
mean, the
involved.
85,000
Probably
is gonna do what 2 of them that are gonna be, 150 or $150,000, and then there was one that's $1.5 million.
Right. Now, we don't need to go to the 1.5 million, but there is a layup that's in between 85 and actually about 300,000 that actually
Yeah.
would do a good job.
If we could get a little help from the county.
Right.
Like you're saying, grant money or something. I mean, we are on a tight budget. We're a small township for sure, but it's in terms of road, expenditures, it's not a huge
Right.
amount of money. So, now that we know ODOT's not paying for it, and I don't mind working parallel paths and seeing if we can get more money for a big project as we
Right.
perhaps.
I guess what I don't see is ODOT, you guys, and the county, because I've been to the county commissioners and they just kind of scratch too. And I mean, everybody just looks and they go, well, it's a 3-way thing. And yes, it is.
Mhm.
Well, 3 heads need to get together.
It
I
would,
mean, that's what y'all's job
it would
is.
only be a 2-way thing, right? With essentially, if we were to do the 85,000, because I think that with that one, we're just moving wider,
We just move it to the
moving
side.
back a little bit. So it intersects,
So
so
it would
not
be-
all jumbled up right there at the mouth of 125.
But at 85,000, again, you're just moving that road to the side. And so you still
Well,
have,
you're actually cutting off Lewis.
Yeah.
It doesn't even, and you cannot make a left-hand turn out of the intersection.
Right.
Which, I got grandkids coming up, so I guess that's one thing I don't, I've been making a left-hand turn out of there forever.
Mhm.
And I don't want them to ever experience that because I'm afraid somebody would be killed.
I mean, your best bet is to make that intersection go across to, what is that, tall timbers on the other
Yes.
side? And then you can have, functionality to try to get a traffic light at that stop. But that's the one that's, that one's going to be probably 300 grand.
If you
In order
move
to
it
do
to
that.
Appomattox too, I mean, then you're putting it through Grants Pass and through that neighborhood, you're putting a lot of traffic
Right.
through there. And then you're gonna need a light
Right.
at Appomattox.
So it's not something that we're trying to kick down the road. What we're trying to do is come up with the solution that solves at least I am, the solution that's going to solve the problem for a long period of time. And not something that we're going to be right back at it, or we're just dumping traffic into somebody else's neighborhood, because that's not helpful either.
And you're right, but Kroger's has been there since 2013 now. And that's when that intersection got extremely bad. And I finally got a commission. They finally did a study, but the first study was done while COVID was going, the first parts of COVID. And he gets, we have a problem there. I said,
Nobody's driving. Yeah.
on the road. And he goes, huh.
Didn't think of that, did he?
Yeah, so they did another study, and the studies show it needs to be
Right.
taken care of. And honestly, I would think somebody would go to Kroger's and say, you guys have really cost these guys a lot of headaches, and maybe they should be involved.
Yeah, I've tried to have conversations with Kroger on a number of things, including this, and it's difficult to find the decision maker that's willing to help. So, that's something we can.
That's what I'm having problems with.
Yep. But I mean, we are having that discussion about the TIF funds. We are talking about different major projects that we have, and it's one of the projects that's in that mix. So our game plan is to we're looking at, since we don't know the future of a certain number of revenue streams for the township moving forward. We have a number of significant projects that Norm's identified, this being one of them. And we're taking a look at ways that we can take those and fix them in the current term rather than wait and kick them down the road. We also have a major.
Looking at what kind of a time period?
Well, I think
Because I was here a year ago and
we've got the list. And so the question is, we now have to look at, we've got what are called TIF districts, tax
Right.
increment finance districts. The state law, it's long and drawn out. So I'll make it short. We have some money that's stuck inside of those TIFs
Right.
that we're trying to find a way to extricate from those TIFs and put them toward these major projects that kind of bedeviled us for the last 10 to 12 years. So we get them out of the way just in case things like property taxes go away and we no longer have that revenue stream. At least we know we have those projects done or in process of being done. So all of that is to say that we have to see what that revenue stream is. We have to see what legally we can take out of those pots of money and put toward other projects. Like, for instance, you mentioned Kroger. The Kroger TIF is gone, but we do have a TIF.
That would have been the people to pay for that intersection.
Well, but we also have a TIF around the corner that potentially we could use. We also have some other ways that we're trying to stretch it. We're trying to work with the law and make sure that we do it legally so we can access those funds. So the answer to that question is we're laying that plan out now with the hope that these projects would be under construction by 2027. Well, hold on. Are you done?
And until then, like we talked about some things last time also, like the people that just blow through the stop sign at White Oak Road. I mean, they come straight, they don't even act like there's a stop sign there. And if you're on Lewis, I mean, you better wait until the guy stops. And then I know.
Well, it's just that what we talked about before was on an interim basis, is there something you do? Because
Right.
The triangle part, when you're pointing out or in or whichever way you're going, there's a triangle part that is a hot mess.
Mhm.
That you can't even see the paint any longer, that tells you where to turn it. People turn down the wrong side
Right.
at times. So something just on an interfaces where you could put flashing red lights around the stop sign or something better that says, do not block the intersection, because that
Right.
happens on a daily basis. Just the other day, there was almost a wreck there because of that.
Right.
So there's gotta be something that isn't gonna cost an arm and a leg that you can do on an interfaces to make it better now.
Eddie, out of the corner of my eye, just popped his little head up. So I think he's got a solution.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. And we've had those conversations actually with the Claremont County engineer specifically. With the water line project ongoing right now, it's a little bit complicated, but one thing we did talk about was, hey, we had the input session here and it resulted in some changes to the plan. So we took those changes, gave them back to ODOT and said, hey, please consider these. But in the event that they don't proceed, fund that larger project, the Claremont County Engineer's Office did have a couple short-term, even temporary measures that they were considering putting in place after the water project went through. And
Why I'm still got all that construction going on there, right at the end of that construction, absolutely.
yeah, so it's definitely on their radar. And what we'll do is we'll get the conversation going again here, figure out a timeline. And, part of the reasoning was you wanted to see if maybe they could put some measures in place, like you're saying, and see how it works. And then maybe that results in a more permanent measure that gets put in. So there's pros and cons. Obviously, we'd love to get the larger project funded and everything, and we'll stay after that.
Hey,
But there definitely are some short-term things.
Yes.
for the bigger project, yeah, but how soon before the water project is done?
Question, Craig, do you know offhand?
Late September, because you guys have got a contract, they're doing the water lines and sewer work. I did reach out to Water Resources during the design phase of that project to make them aware of the ongoing discussions we've been having. And they're able to change the design a little bit of that water main. To facilitate improvements made to the road later, so we would run into relocating a new water main or relocating a hydrant. They're able to drop the depth of the main a little bit and change the location of the hydrant, to at least eliminate that hurdle whenever we get to that.
Do you think it'd be okay if we had like a special meeting where we could have this as kind of the lone topic, or maybe a couple of our projects, so that we do that before? Because as I remember how water resources work, they finish the project and then they resurface because it's going to, the road is torn up pretty badly.
Yes.
There's your moment to, put in, new striping or whatever we might need. Let's see if we can get a meeting with the engineer's office, have them come in here so that we can have a full discussion. And we'll just do it as a kind of a work session, or even just we don't even have to have a full meeting. We just schedule a get together.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's come with some rubber meets the road stuff, though. I don't come in here and talk for 2 hours and get nowhere. I just don't have the stomach for it.
Understood.
And this cannot continue. So we're going to do something. We're going to do something here when the smoke clears, even if it's just a temporary thing while we try, because even that big project is going to be 300 plus, and sure, we could get some of that out of a TIF, but with the other stuff we want to do and what we have available, I'm kind of doubting all of it. So we're going to need some grant money for something like that, or we're going to need ODOT to come to the table, and that's out of our hands. We can't.
Not entirely.
Well, I
mean,
do
not
know they
entirely,
can
but it's not completely in our control.
go back for another grant they talked about towards the end of the year, like in December.
So what I was saying was that then we could parallel look at the viability of it, like an 85 or something that we could partner with the county on, and all this could be discussed. But we could have some concrete ideas from the county on exactly what that other option would look like. We kind of know what the big option would look like, and then some signage and some things, and so that when we come to this meeting, we can come out with action items out the back end of it. I don't want to have it too soon that we don't have time to get everything together so that we can come into it.
I think a lot of the pieces are already together. I mean, I think we already know that the water project is going to be finishing up in September-ish. We know that we did not get the grant for ODOT. We do know that there's a potential grant coming up at the end of the year. We also
And we
know,
do need to push on that,
Right.
though. I mean,
and so I'd rather have, use that as a strategy session. I mean, what I would love to see happen would be that a combination of us with the county come together and create the 85,000. So at least we know we've got that in the bank, and then use that $85,000, as I mentioned before, the 80-20 split. Then I can go to ODOT and say, here's the deal. I've got $85,000 banked. Now I need you to finish the project. And sometimes with grantors, they like to hear that they're the last money into the game to make it happen. So, I mean, that's kind of what I would see that meeting, exactly what you want, which is we're going into this meeting talking to you guys, and we actually aren't just talking about where we put a sign or a ripple strip or whatever. We're saying the county's identified 35,000. We know where 50,000 is. And so here we've got 85. We're ready to go. We just need to get the next phase. And if it fails and we don't get the grant for the other 80%, at least we know we've got the 85 to finish, to do that one part. Does that make sense?
yes. Yes, it does. Now that we've done that. Oh.
Yeah, Mark, not so quick, Mark.
Is there any way to put a police car that it doesn't have to be just somewhere at Super Sam or at somewhere near that intersection to deter maybe some of the craziness that happens right now?
I mean, the
Because there's a
people
lot of
running through
craziness.
Super Sam's.
What?
The people running through Super Sam's, they run through Super Sam's and then make a right out of his parking lot and screw the whole damn thing up.
Right. Well, I mean, we could,
And that's probably
Yeah.
every day.
this is the time to do it. Mhm.
Now, the town name stores have been there 75 years, so he's useful with how long that place has been a problem. I was pulling in, I had the right of way, my turn, and there was already a car at the intersection to turn up towards Schroeder's. Another one came in behind it, so now it's blocked. And I start pulling in, and I'm halfway through the markers, and this young lady jettisons in front of me. So I lock up all the brakes I got, and I come sliding to a stop and miss her by about an inch. And at the same time, this is rush hour. There's a guy coming up from Cincinnati, cutting into, I don't know whether he was going down White or Lewis. He locks up everything he's got, and he just misses me by a little bit. So we didn't have an accident. It was. Thank you, Lord.
That's right.
But it's a ridiculous intersection. It's a ridiculous intersection. Let me ask you a question. Why isn't it possible? I know that there was conversation a couple of years ago about going up, taking the dance studio out and going to the subdivision across the street and putting the traffic light down there and rerouting things. I know that was conversation, but on the short term, why isn't it possible for us to put some type of lighting system at the end of White Oak and at the end of Lewis to kind of reinforce for people when it's their turn? Life's become too complicated and everybody's in a hurry. So everybody's afraid they're gonna lose their spot. And they just jettison out. I mean, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think, yeah, life has become too complicated, including this situation. If you took White Oak, we own the property behind that pie-shaped piece, right? If you took White Oak and you turn it through the property that we own and intersect it to Lewis there and put a stop sign in, you're probably spending around what you would spend for the lighting system you're talking about, and the whole problem gets solved. I mean, not the whole problem. You still have that, but you don't have that three-way funky thing going on. I think that's the most dangerous aspect of that intersection. And so
6,000 rather than 200 car.
yeah, and I agree with you. And I think that if we can't get the big ticket dollar item done, which hopefully we can, but if we can't, then we could do something, maybe not exactly that, but something like that for 80 to 100K that we could maybe solve that three-way funkiness and at least make it more palatable and safer without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I ain't saying that.
What's that?
I'm gonna say I heard this saying.
Oh, my gosh.
Well,
Oh,
well,
geez.
Tina's police officer ID, you don't like.
That'd be the perfect place for a police car.
But I agree, we'll come up with a couple items and generally people are crazier, which doesn't help anything like, just out of the norm. I live back in the
So
Royal
when
Oak
do you
area.
think that next
I'm
meeting?
I'm talking, just let me finish talking if you don't mind. And there's people that I was driving 25 miles an hour there and all of a sudden my car stopped and this car went, like 70 miles an hour and my whole car moved like if they pass you when you're on, 125, just past the double yellow. A few weeks back, just right out in front of my house, somebody was chasing somebody else and they ran into a telephone pole, supposedly, that kind of thing where it seems like behavior generally is a little more erratic and some of that is what it is, but the intersection part, we can definitely, I think, look harder at and come up with some more concrete ideas.
So Eddie, and Craig, I suppose, and Norm, can we shoot for something like and obviously we have to get, the county in on this as well. But can we just kind of target, our next board meeting is the 12th. I'm just a little concerned. Do we have time to get the county involved between now? We'd have basically 3 weeks to get something going for like a work session to discuss this project. Or should we shoot for the week of the 20th?
A lot of it's going to be contingent upon what the engineer's office ability looks like.
Right.
Regardless of what we can do, we can definitely put it on Facebook
I'm
and get it
sorry.
advertised pretty hard
The 17th.
if that helps.
Let's do this. We'll target the week of the 17th for a session like this, but I don't want to lock it down because I can't speak for the
Right.
engineer's office. And if I say it's going to be a certain date and they can't do it, I don't want to have that issue. So
And I don't want to push so quickly that it really nothing's, because I don't have the stomach for just coming to.
yeah, none of us
listen.
do.
None of us.
Yeah.
Eddie, just for your information, I will not be available from 31st to the 5th or the week, actually the 18th on that week, the 17th, I'm also unavailable.
But
And pretty much any other time I can meet.
the week of the 24th sometime.
Yes.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll take a look. We'll see what kind of meeting we can set up with the notion that we do want to press. Personally, my view is, and I get what you're trying to say with regard to interim steps, but I'm going to be pushing to try to figure out the $85,000 question right off the bat. And quite frankly, it is a county road. And so my view is that instead of it, remember the number that I used, 50,000 for us and 35, flip that around. So at any rate, that's what we'll commit to. We'll try to get something scheduled for that week, but I don't, like I said, I'm not going to put it in stone at the moment until we figure it out. But we'll be targeting that. Okay.
Okay. And now I'm going to introduce Matt Cook. He's going to come up. He wants to talk to you about the new cameras that have gone up.
I figured he was going to come up and talk about another intersection because no, thank
You
you.
could put that camera at the intersection.
I was just actually
That would
joking.
be
I was actually just joking. I said we could put a police car there with a flock camera in it.
See you live.
Come on up.
Now you got to do it yourself.
And I got notes, but I'll probably go off those notes. Can I give these to you guys?
Yeah.
Packets. You can actually review it
Thank you.
afterwards and.
Do you- Because our colleague isn't here tonight. So
And I sent one, the Union Township Chief and the Pierce Township Chief as well. I know he's out, so, just so they have it. So I definitely, I know Mark, I know quite a few of these good people here because We stacked your room even with our kids, teaching them a little bit about local government, how it works. But a lot of us, we all go to the same church that this is referencing, the Bridgeway Church, right there at Amelia Pierce Township. Before I start, super thankful for you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do locally. I was in the Marine Corps for a couple of years, trained law enforcement, border patrol, foreign military police, and have an appreciation for professional policing. So I'm not here in any way to say anything negative about our officers or the technology that you guys use to fight crime and people making bad decisions. But I do have a concern. So the concern is the Axon, we talking about Flock, that's a specific company, right? The Axon outpost camera that UT, I guess, worked with Pierce Township to place right in the easement in front of the Bridgeway property. So it was chosen that way per the Chief Reese, Union Township told us, because it kind of keeps track of who's going out of Union into Pierce and out of Pierce into Union. Kind of helps everybody there from a license plate reader perspective. The issue that I want to raise is not necessarily pertaining to the technology. Personally, I don't like it. I don't love the mass surveillance of Americans, but I'm sure we all have cell phones in our pockets right now, and we're being surveilled. It's just the way it is. So what I do, and so that could be debated another day, right? What I do have an issue with, and I wanted to raise for you guys to be aware of, is the placement of the camera. So it actually faces the entrance of our church. And so, you know, the concern that we have, one, our members, we don't really love it. It's right in front of our sign. So that's more of a personal thing, not a legal thing. You know, we don't want people maybe visiting. We had over 300 people on Sunday. We don't want people visiting to not want to come maybe because of one reason or another related to, you know, a camera that they have an opinion about, which actually is referenced in one of those Supreme Court cases there that First Amendment rights would be potentially injured or perception of injury just by surveillance outside of a house of worship. But the real issue here that I have is just the placement. It's potentially, and these things are never the people putting them in. I never believe have an intention to do wrong. It's down the road that somebody finds power and likes to abuse it for one reason or another. My request is that you guys review the placement of that, potentially move it, even if it was a couple 100 feet, accomplish the same legal goal off of our property. So one, First Amendment is not in conversation about, and really, actually, I'll say this, there's Supreme Court cases to reference, but really, I think the one that matters, I think it's a 1958 course in Presbyterian Church versus the United States, you know, related to immigration scenario. They were surveilling the people attending the church with audio equipment. And the Supreme Court found that that was a real claim to First Amendment injury, and that you could not do any kind of audio or video surveillance around a house of worship. Right. Whether it's a church or a mosque or a temple, I would like the township, and I'm going to make the same presentation at Union Township. I'd like some sort of consideration that there'll be a policy that if these cameras are to be used, they not be in those certain areas that would be potentially sensitive to First and Fourth Amendment scenarios. I don't want you guys to have to deal with that, and I don't want to be the person dealing with it either. So
yeah, I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. I wasn't aware of the placement regarding the church, relative to the church. So I think it's something we can look at. I don't know why, quite frankly, it's a long road. I don't know why we couldn't.
Quite frankly, I'm okay with just moving it.
Yeah, I think we probably can, unless there's a reason why we that I'm not aware of. But
3-foot concrete footer and probably some bolts into the concrete. I mean, you could even leave the little spot in the ground and we could find another spot for it. I'd pay for the concrete, but
you would pay for the concrete? I
mean, if I get some bags from Home Depot, I'd be happy to do that. So I've been known to do some work. But yeah, I mean, main thing is whether it's our church, and I really think that it should move because a lot of our attendees are quite frustrated by this. But if there's a legitimate legal reason for them to be used, and the township doesn't believe that it's in violation of any rights, just a movement of it, so there's no perception of violation.
I think-
Yeah, I think we could probably.
I think what I would be willing to do is because Chief Brocksterman's not
Yeah.
with us today. He's just on vacation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I made it sound
Worse than you meant, but-
he's not with us today. I
Right,
need to
yeah.
work on the verbiage. But let's do this. We'll talk to Chief Brocksterman when he gets back.
Cool.
About the notion of just moving it and just finding a new location. If there's no special significance to it, it's just they placed it there. Then what I'd ask you to do is bring the bags of cement
Sure.
to our next board meeting on August the 12th.
August
And
the
then,
12th.
and then we'll have a better idea from Chief Brocksterman when he's back.
You actually.
No, I do not. But if you can come back.
You can, if you ask me.
I
No.
was gonna say, well.
I would love
and
to
get
see
back with you in
that.
2027.
2027.
No, just come back at our next board meeting. We might, at that point, Eddie, we should have more information from Brocksterman.
Or we'll get your information and we may be able to get with the chief and get back
Let's
with
get
you
it
before
done.
that. And you don't have, we may save you the time from coming to the meeting, but if you want to come to the next meeting, by all means, but we'll
Well-
try to get on this pretty
Well,
quick.
he does have a twofold request here. One is the question of moving it, but also two, having a policy in place
Mhm.
where we're discussing
Maybe
how
that's the second
houses of
solution.
worship, right? And so that's kind of where I'm headed to actually have maybe a discussion about that as well.
Because here's the main point of that. I mean, Chief Reese, the way I understand it, because we talked about departments,
Mhm.
it's Pierce Township area, but it's Union Township equipment.
Right.
And they suggested the spot, approved the spot. He said in an email today, there was absolutely no intention for that to be in a
Yeah.
scenario of reviewing who's pulling
Right.
into the church. Totally assumed that was the case. So,
Right.
really, I think that'd be a good policy for them as well, but,
Right.
um,
But that's what we'll do. We'll get with Brockstrom and see if there's any reason, that we can't just move the thing.
sounds good.
And then we'll have Eddie get back to you and let you know. And then as far as the policy is concerned, I think that's something we can have a discussion with Brockstrom as well about, and then see where we could take that.
Sounds good.
So that's the
Appreciate you.
commitment we'll make
Thanks.
Thank
man.
you.
in 2027.
Yeah. When we talk about the White House project, we're gonna get on it in government speed. We'll have something figured out by 2030.
We'll form a
Sure.
committee and then hold on.
They'd use them throughout the country. We had recently, we had somebody that
Inside
stole a
the county,
vehicle
yeah.
that came into the township when we knew they were in the township. You can probably speak better to it than me, but
Basically, it takes a picture of a license plate that drives past it. It's a one-way camera, so if you're trying to get two directions, you have to have two cameras because it's pointed at the rear of the car to take a picture of the license plate and then type a car.
So anybody,
The cameras that we have set up are for people coming into the township or places like East Ridge and Jenny Lynn, people leaving East Ridge and Huntsman's Trace and 125, people leaving because of the car break-ins, getting pictures of cars leaving. You can search the description of a vehicle where you don't know the license plate, say red truck, and it will give you pictures of red trucks. So all it's doing is taking still pictures of a plate and a picture of a car. And that's all it does. And then it is searchable by us. And we get to search anybody else's cameras like Union Township. We only have, I think we have 8 cameras. Union Township. It's, as he pointed out, that there's been cases where I brought up one to somebody recently where there was a missing person. The sister said, I don't know what happened, his phone, he's not answering it. I think he's lost his phone. They hadn't seen him for some days. We ran his plate and the description of the vehicle. It hit on the 132 camera, which is close to where he lived. But it only told us that he went past it. But it hit on a camera in Sharonville that he had been by 2 days prior. So then we call Sharonville and say, what's this vehicle? Have you had contact with it? And then his sister said, wait, I think he has a job. He was a contractor in Sharonville. And so then we were able to locate him and his phone was gone. So that's why he couldn't answer. So that was a fairly recent one. Stolen cars. If you're trying to track somebody on an investigation like car break-ins and somebody catches it on a doorbell camera, that's common. We get partials of a car driving by somebody's front door, a black BMW, then you can search black BMW. And also you can
And I
track
just,
it.
I was just reading about a case in Austin, Texas, where I think they got rid of them and they actually put them back in because somebody was abducted and they could have saved this person and they didn't but I would 100% agree with you generally on the surveillance aspect, just so you know, not that it affects this particular church placement, but generally speaking, I think you're 100% accurate by saying that anytime where the solution or the guardrail is just trust us, that's never a good thing.
Right.
And you've got all the data and you've got all the license plates and you've got all the pictures of the cars. And if you wanted to use it nefariously, you could, but we're not. Just trust us. I'm never a big fan of that. But at the same time,
But just trust us?
just trust me. At the same time, it's data that's being collected in like you mentioned with your phone, it's being collected in a massive way all the time. Anyone could set a camera on in their front yard and snap and surveil any car coming down the road. I just think in some ways also it's a genie that is a little bit out of the bottle, and it has done some serious good across the country with.
But it's also,
So that's kind of I'm not 100% in one camp or the other, to be honest with you, but I think the placement of it in front of your church, we could probably.
Yeah.
They're almost two separate issues. Really.
Yeah.
And if I could
yeah,
just,
no, I totally agree.
just one comment real quick on that, because I know there's a legitimate, that's why I bring up the phones. I mentioned that to our pastor as well. Like, if you really didn't want surveillance in your church or what you're preaching on or anything, then everyone leaves their phones outside, right? I mean, it's just the way the world is these days. But with these cameras, specifically the Axon cameras, but just in general, I mean, the city of Newport just terminated their contract and is getting rid of them. The LAPD just last week got rid of theirs as well for overall First and Fourth Amendment, just concerns, right? But I think the main thing I want to make, if there's any kind of public statement on this, at least from our church, I'm not worried personally about law enforcement or what you guys are using them for. I really always believe that those types of things are put in with good intention. It's always the next person, historically. And so, you know, there's a lot of cases of law enforcement officers being fired for misuse. 18 that I researched before I came, but
Mhm.
you know, one was a guy in Florida that searched an ex-wife over 100 times to track her movements. I guarantee you when they put those in there, that was not at all what they thought would happen. But that's not good for her safety either. And
Right.
so I think that they're good and there's a good, real safe reason for them, but also the placement there, it's kind of a separate issue. So, I know a lot of people, it's a hot button topic and they would just like them to go away. You could just move it.
Yep. Thank you. Now it's your turn.
Doug Dressy, 994 Eagles Landing. Just wanted to see if there's any update on the data center issue. I know the moratorium is in place. You know, there was kind of a mini update back in May's trustee meeting, but the June and July zoning commission meetings were canceled. So I know the clock is kind of ticking on that moratorium. So just wanted to see if there's an update on what the zoning commission is doing as far as recommendations on data centers.
Sure. Is that Eddie or is that Christine?
Yeah, so the moratorium goes until October. So that is in effect currently. We're discussing how we want to move forward administratively at this point. So zoning commission, they actually were the ones who recommended the moratorium. And there was discussion at our last meeting to potentially extend that moratorium if need be. They wanted us to do some additional research. They weren't really ready to take a stand as to how they wanted them dealt with. So that's where we are.
This township that approached buying company. Data center or township?
Yeah, the township has, and it's probably been over a couple of years since that first contact was made. So there are companies always doing due diligence. They're, obviously with the old backdoor plant, that sort of thing, a lot of electrical generation that's in that regard. But otherwise, moratorium's in place, so there's nothing that can really move forward, and the zoning commission is effectively working on drafting regulatory framework and figuring out the best ways to proceed with it.
So they are working on drafting regulatory framework, or they don't know what to do, so they're just kind of frozen in the headlights. Which is it? I mean, what are they?
I think that they know that that's their task, but I have not been in the meeting, so I don't know. I don't know if there maybe we actually spoke about this like yesterday, trying to
I'm
get
not trying to
feel.
put you guys on the
So,
spot, but
I think that they're stuck in a situation where my perception is they understand that there are a lot of issues swirling around it, but perhaps staff can work with this board to set some higher level guardrails and kind of principles for them to maybe begin working off of. As you guys know, with the data center situation, it ranges in everything from scale to water usage impact, energy generation. There's just a lot of factors. And so our perception at staff level is that it's a lot to chew at the moment. So maybe what we can do is we can reach out to this board, get some additional guardrails and task items for them to maybe help guide the
Well, approach. It's been my experience with some other communities that have had this come up, that a lot of times there's deals that are put together by the state or the county, and they supersede our zone, local zoning, and push those through. It was a case in I believe Hilliard, Ohio, just outside of Columbus, where that happened. And so, they were opposed. The city of Hilliard was opposed, but it was put in because the state, the governor's office, quite frankly, and several other agencies decided it was a great idea. So let's do it. And so you had a residential area, and you had this data center. And the big problem is that there was a power source attached to it that was quite loud and it was a lot of pollution that came off of it. However, that aside, the problem is that it is kind of the Wild West. I mean, it's hard to find what you would consider best practices, because these things are so new, and quite frankly, some of them have been shoved down people's throats. And, this idea of an NDA, these other issues that come up, those right now, there's not an A, B, or C, how you've gone about, normally if you had a factory, or if you had a subdivision, or you had, they conform to a set of rules. These have not had a lot of rules. They go based on what, how much those agencies have actually bent over backwards to allow them to come in. So that's why I was actually very proud that we put a moratorium in place. I think we're actually one of the first in the country to have actually put a moratorium in place. And so I think we can do the best we can do to come up with rules, but I think they're going to have to be our rules, the way we want it done, because I just don't know how many best practices we'll be able to pull out of the hat that are coming from other communities. So, you've got some elected officials that say this is pure gold for local governments. And then you've got other communities that are saying, we did it and we regret it. So, there's a lot of balancing here, and we're going to have to kind of cut through this on our own and decide what it is we want. And that may not be what the data centers want, but we've been there before with subdivisions,
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't agree more. I do think we're gonna have to cut through it on our own and just define it. If the state or the federal government blows through it,
Since,
it is what it is, but at least we tried.
right.
The moratorium is in place. We could always also extend it if
Yeah.
we felt it necessary.
Yes.
Water usage issue, and there's a lot of considerations with these facilities.
And you're also looking at, if you put it at Beckjord, you're looking at, okay, fine, it's a former industrial site. It's dirty. It's already a brownfield. So what the heck, what can you lose? But the water consumption, you're sitting right on top of one of the largest aquifers in North America. And, that's not something that is insignificant. We no sooner want the pollution going from Beckjord into those aquifers than we would want them to drain the aquifer out. And we're left with nothing. So, it all sounds great in abstract, but when we start to get into the specific, that's where it starts to become more frightening. We've got the Ohio River. Wow, we've got lots of water. That's great. But then are we going to put 3 or 4 or 5 data centers on that site so that now that water is being consumed and not by us, it's being consumed by, a data center. So I think that your points are all well taken. And I think Nick and I both have been on the record to say, we really want what's happening inside that zoning commission. We want to make sure that there's plenty of opportunity and public input as we move toward that deadline on the moratorium. So whatever they're doing, I want to make sure that you guys all have an opportunity to come in here and make your voices heard, because it's critical. And these things are here, they're coming in some variety or another, and we just need to protect the community from that. So I think we made a statement in front of a bunch of developers. I did. I'm not here to make developers more money. I'm here to protect the community. And that's something that we have to really be mindful of. So, and I give you a couple seconds to say what you need to say.
I think you summed it up pretty well. Yeah, we need to kind of figure out what we want to define in regards to the zoning. I think that's really important, and then encourage the community to come in and have input when we do have those discussions, so that we make sure because the land use plan and all that stuff is devised from what the community wants to see, from community input. That's the whole thing. So we got to make sure we get the proper input so we can come up with the appropriate legislation and zoning rules.
Okay. Anything else? She stood up first. But you might want to go ahead and stand over here. The way things are going tonight, you might want to stand be in the on deck circle.
Piggybacking on the last item that we were talking about,
Mhm.
I also think that we need to consider legislation, local legislation, something for the battery storage units. 9 feet by 4 feet, they're going to put acres of them in.
Mhm.
I do know of someone who has signed a contract to have that done on.
Okay, that's a good point. And we've also mentioned small scale nuclear. So, those are things that are real. They used to be just things of nightmare, but now they're real. Go ahead, hurry, get up here.
So I will make a comment on the data centers. I would prefer a moratorium to continue further, because right now Ohio House Bill 646 is currently sitting in the Senate still, and that's just to have a committee to look into the effects of data centers. We're still in the Wild West, like we said. I don't want us predisposing ourselves to those issues as well. Hopefully Bill 706 will pass on the data centers as well. That currently is trying to get 85% of max capacity of electricity to be actually accounted for by the data centers. Obviously that's in limbo, and there's like Supreme Court dealings there. Now on to what I initially came into.
Because look at
What
him,
is your
he
name,
was going
please?
so fast. I mean, it was
I apologize.
a lot of information really quick.
I'm
What is your name, please?
I'm Keegan Slaney.
Keegan?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Last name again?
Slaney, SLANEY.
Thank you.
Now, take a deep breath.
There we go. Yeah, I'll calm it down.
You've got time. Got time.
So for my first comment, I would like to support continuing the moratorium, as currently at the state level, there's a House bill that's in the Senate, 646, that's trying to have a committee to look over the effects of our data centers in the communities. If we are concerned about the Wild West aspect of it, and we should wait for more research into many different aspects of this. I know electricity supply demand issues are a concern. I would like to point out that at the Ohio level, there's State Bill 706 in that House currently that I hope passes. But that has nothing to do with us, I guess. Now on to the local level. Okay, so this is a family concern. Fisher currently owns Prestwick Place.
Mm.
My family is interested in the timeline when the responsibility of the roads and infrastructure in that neighborhood will be transferred to the public, either Claremont or Pierce Township, due to the fact that there are some potholes and issues from Fisher's construction close to the pipe stem where my family's house is. We just are concerned that if they were to leave before that were to be dealt with, then it would be the public funding to fix the potholes that they created. So we just wanted to point that out to us.
Thank you.
Well, through the PUD that we have signed with Fisher, they are required to fix those things before they leave the site. And the timing that they leave the site is when their last lot is sold.
Okay.
So you've got, that's not a happy story, but they still have the ability to come and go and leave potholes and do what they need to during the construction phase. So once that is done, that's when those roads transfer officially to Pierce Township.
Got it. Thank you.
So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else? Any little ones out there? You have anything you want to ask? Nothing? There you go. You exposed them here? The local government? Whoa. Are you guys having fun? You staying awake? At least we're lively, right? All right. All right, if there's nobody else, then we're going to click back in and start doing our business. So if you guys want to stay, you're certainly welcome to stay. Not trying to run you out. I just wanted to make sure that if you needed to get someplace, we got you there on time. So with that, we're going to do departmental updates. Let's fire away with Lieutenant Bennett.
National Night Out's
Hey,
coming up quick.
Lieutenant, has nothing to do with you. They love you. They're just leaving.
Yes. Don't forget National Night Out.
Now there's a bunch of people that wanted to leave but won't leave.
Yes. So National Night Out's coming up on August 5th. We always plan them to be bigger and better than they were the year before, so we have the same expectation. Of course, weather always plays a factor, so hopefully we have good weather and it's not too humid.
You all set? That's it?
Yeah.
All right, Chief Wright, you're up.
Wanted to make you aware that we did receive the Ohio Division of EMS Equipment Grant for $3,500. So it's a
Excellent.
reimbursement grant. State has an approved list of things that are allowable. So after we make those purchases, we can submit receipts and get our funds back.
Excellent.
That grant is actually funded from law enforcement across the state and seatbelt tickets. So thanks to our police officers for the seatbelt tickets.
Thank you. All right, Norm, you're up. Service Department.
All right, me and Mr. McCarthy have been reviewing our staff needs. As you know, we're 2 full-time employees down from being full staff. So right now we're just looking to hire 1 and we're going to be looking to hire a maintenance worker 1. So.
But that, just a quick question though, that staffing issue is contemplated in the budget. We just don't have those bodies hired, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
He does have the funding.
okay.
We have submitted an application for a cemetery grant through the Ohio Department of Commerce. It's up to $5,000. We haven't heard back yet, but we're looking to start doing our own setups in the cemetery. So that's what we're looking to get this grant for, to purchase equipment for it. As of right now, we have 1,695 feet of hiker biker trail in West Legendary completed. We have 530 feet to complete in East Legendary to finish up what we had projected to do for this year. And the Locust Corner Playground, we got the new slide in, got new drainage pipe in, and all the new mulch in. There's a few little touch-up things to do, but the playground is back open up and done and running. So
Looks good.
That's
Great.
I'm going to go over after the meeting and jump on the slide.
Big slide.
I'll catch you.
I don't think you want to do that, but thank you for the offer. Doug, you're up. Parks and Green Space.
So just update on events, June concert,
Great attendance. It was a great event, great band. Probably the best band we've had, to be honest with you, over the past few years. Debbie was there. We did have a little over $2,700 in beverage sales, to support the events. So that kind of goes back into support those costs. There was a complaint about the grass. It did not get mowed beforehand, so it was pretty long.
Oh.
And I know that came up in the trustee meeting last month in regard to the cemetery, but they did, however, mow right before the 4th of July bike parade, so it was looking good for that event. So, but anyway, just wanted to bring that up. 4th of July bike parade attendance was a little soft. Wasn't a hot day. And also, I guess some of the neighborhoods like Prestwick Place is now doing one, you know,
Yeah.
over in Amelia, there's that one, and I guess Rivendell does one. So we may look at kind of, you know, scaling back at least the amount of food that we purchased. And we did all the hot dogs we sent to the police department to use for National Night Out, and that type of thing. So nothing went to waste.
Right.
So that's something we'll consider for next year. Next concert is August 22nd, Saturday from 6 to 9. Now we do have a new event we're trying this year in September on Saturday, the 19th. It's a touch truck event over at Spencer Shank, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Really geared towards kids and all that. But all the departments are stepping up to have vehicles there for kids to check out. The Sheriff's Department, Ohio Land SAR, they're going to have their K-9 unit. So it's going to kind of a new thing we're going to try this year, and hope to have a good turnout for that.
Excellent. That it? Okay, thank you. Planning and development.
We are looking at cluster zoning as a potential tool to use to encourage high quality residential development. Basically, the idea is instead of, you know, cookie cutter style subdivision, you would have homes clustered together and maintaining more rural character. So we are researching that and hope to have some discussion with zoning commission about that.
What's your definition of clustered together? Is that changing the standard separation from houses?
That's exactly what we're going to talk about. So all it's not determined right now. We're going to be discussing it. All zoning commission meetings are open to the public. So when that's on the agenda, certainly anyone is welcome to attend. Or if you have an opinion or want more information, you can feel free to reach out to me directly.
Okay, so we will be discussing it at the next zoning.
I'm not sure which meeting it will be on the agenda for yet. We are working on it.
That it? Okay. Administration, Eddie.
All right. So just a couple quick items. One is expenditure authorization. So we had over this past year, and we've noticed a little bit of momentum gaining on just inflation and the cost of just doing business generally. So staff did a little bit of research into our administrative authorization. So right now, staff is authorized to make incur expenditures up to $2,500. We can go all the way up to 10,000. And so that's at the discretion of this board. But right now, what we're noticing is that a number of expenditures are exceeding the 2,500, particularly for things like routine maintenance. So I was working with the fire department, for instance, on one set of examples. So this year alone, we've had 6 expenditures, just maintenance related, basic repairs to squads and things to that effect, exceed that 2,500. So staff put together a little bit of information to determine whether or not you guys wanted to proceed, or maybe you have some questions. But for instance, if we move that 2,500 up to 5,000, we would have knocked out 50% of those kind of quote unquote emergency style expenditures to this.
Great.
point.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do it. We need to talk about it more, or talk about it for a while.
I think we could talk it into the ground. Trouble is, we both agree. So what do you do with that?
Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Just, I think what Ms. Barbier is getting to, if you're so inclined, we just need to amend the agenda and just put it on there. And
Yeah, I know we're gonna have to pass a motion, but does
Yeah.
5,000 sound okay? I was kind of, just pushing forward, but I mean, we are just gonna have to pick something and kind of roll with it and see how, I mean, 5,000 seems reasonable without going too.
But I know some of the emergency expenditures, like within the fire department, had been over 5,000.
Yeah, so
The last one that we
Yeah.
did was around over 6,000.
So, that the 50, it covers 50%, but as fiscal officer Schwa is indicating, there are some, but I don't know if you want to incremental or.
Okay.
So first off, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda. Add bullet point number, what's the last one we have here? Scrap that. I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include a motion to this.
We're gonna have to do it by resolution.
Oh, okay.
So the statute requires that by resolution, so we can do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
If you want to have to be a resolution.
Then we'll call for a resolution, put that on the agenda for the next board meeting. Thank God you had your little tablet of knowledge. Thank
We'll
you.
do it for 10.
Yeah. 10 grand.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Last couple quick items here. This is a little bit of a kind of overlapping item, but facility wise, the service department has been doing a lot of legwork getting the restroom renovation quotes for the fire and the police department restroom facilities. So we're hoping to probably target August to have something in front of you guys as a recommendation to get those knocked out. And in your packets also, we have just a project scope from Brandstetter Carroll regarding some fire service delivery items. One thing that I know that the board has prioritized taking care of deferred maintenance on this building, but also simultaneously keeping our eye on the ball with regard to service delivery and along the corridor where there's a lot of growth. So Brandstetter put together just a scoping study to help the fire department get their arms around levy planning and just all their medium and long range outlook for service, to see what we could do, pros and cons of some different approaches as well.
But to be clear, I'm not prepared to move forward with any major expenditure beyond deferred maintenance in this building and renovation. So
Understood.
just to be clear, building a new firehouse
Right.
someplace else is not something I'm going to vote for at the moment.
Yep,
Yeah, I
understood.
think we're all on the same
Yeah.
page, but I hope.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear that, we're not jumping in to do the $17 million build. We're just, what does it look like, and answer some questions for down the road.
Understood.
At
And
least
a
that's
price
for me.
tag on the renovations.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that it?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. Thank you, everybody. We're going to jump into new business now. So with that, Fiscal Officer Debbie Schwei.
I request a motion to approve the payment of payroll for the month of June in the amount of $535,497.53.
So moved.
Seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman?
Yes, okay. You're still up, Debbie.
I request a motion to approve the payment of bills for the month of June in the amount of $491,225.73.
So moved.
I was going to do that one. Seconded. Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
That's all I got.
All right, Chief Brocksterman, but you're not Chief Brocksterman. So
Yep, I will, I'll do this first motion.
once again, still not Chief Brocksterman, but okay.
Yep, Lieutenant Bennett and I will keep doing this throughout the rest of the meeting.
Oh, so this is kind of a duet.
Yeah.
This is cool. Let's do
Just
this.
to keep you on your toes.
I like this.
All right. So Eddie McCarthy, on behalf of Police Chief Paul Brockstrom, requests a motion to appoint Justin Schultz to the position of Assistant Chief, the hourly rate of $55.81 per hour. If approved, he will be promoted at the August 12th, 2026 trustee meeting with an effective date of August 16th, 2026.
All right.
This position has been discussed and the budget and the whole thing, so I will go ahead and make the motion.
I'll second that. Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes. All right. So now we're over here for Chief Brocksterman.
Police Chief Brocksterman requests a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-004, which enacts regulations for rights of way and certain properties in Pierce Township pursuant to ORC Code 505.17.
Now give us a little rundown of what that is.
This is a parking resolution to deal with, so townships only have certain ability to enforce certain parking violations, which is only like 10 or 15 things. One of our biggest complaints, especially in Old Amelia, is cars parked on a roadway and not moving for a while, which is illegal as long as the vehicle's not got flat tires and can't run and has valid license plates through Ohio. This legislation would make that something that the township can set and control and issue warnings and citations for.
And why would we not want to have people parking on both sides of the street?
Well, it's a chronic complaint that people have. And in Amelia, some of the streets are very narrow. And if you got too much parking, there's also trailers and RVs, creates problems for them. Blocking sidewalks is another one of their complaints. So if you don't regulate how long the vehicle sits there, then some of them sit there for a while. So it's a response to complaints from the residents.
You want to make the motion? You want me to do it? Because I'll do this one. Go. All right, I make I don't even know how to do it now. It's so bad. I so move.
I second.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
All right. All right. So you were there. So you're the next Brocksterman, right?
No, it's still me.
Wait,
They're trying to keep everybody on their toes.
don't confuse me like this.
Police Chief Broxman requests a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Dakota Gullett to a full-time sworn position of police officer at step 2 with an hourly rate of $37.03 contingent upon the completion of his medical exam and a drug test. The effective date of his appointment is to be determined based on when he completes those two things.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Who is it? Who is it?
Still me.
Okay.
Police Chief Broxman requested a motion to pay an invoice to Kessler Police Supply for $2,904.40. This invoice covers the receipt of soft body armor for our 2 new recent hires.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Debbie, roll call.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
My final one, Police Chief Paul Broxman requests a motion to pay an invoice from the Ohio State Highway Patrol for the amount of $3,000. This invoice covers the cost of LEADS access, which LEAD stands for Law Enforcement Automated Data System access for the police department's 12 computer terminals in the cars and 2 computers in the station. The invoice covers a period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027.
I'll make the motion.
Seconded. Debbie, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Chief Craig Wright, you're up.
I request a motion to approve the estimate with Atlantic Emergency Solutions for the upfitting cost of $15,284.91 for the new Dodge Durango that's been ordered.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on that? Anything anybody wants to know more about it? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Let's see what, she touched her nose back there. It's kind of like she moved and I was like.
Is this an auction, dude? Touched her nose.
No, I know it's like, she's got something to say and I felt bad. I felt like I missed some public comment. Sorry. Chief Wright, you're still up.
Thank you. And I apologize. I should have had the motion order reversed. It would have flowed a little better. I request
Yeah.
a motion to amend the approval of the Dodge Durango purchase from Mount Orab Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram from the May 20th, 2026 meeting. Due to the model year change, the price increased from $39,621 to $40,321 for a difference of $700. I just wanted to be transparent that there was a price increase with the meeting date, how it was. We just missed the ordering date.
Got it.
Thank you. I'll make the motion.
Seconded. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any questions? Don't move. Nobody move. Or I'll call on you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. All right. Chief Wright, you're still up.
Request a motion to approve the annual invoice from First Due for the renewal of the fire department pre-incident planning software in the amount of $5,903.89.
So moved.
Seconded. Any discussion, any questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Thank you. And my last one, I request a motion to approve the appointment of Jonathan Grant Elam as a part-time firefighter EMT at the established rate effective July 23rd, 2026. Shall serve a one-year probationary period, noting Mr. Grant Elam has successfully completed all pre-employment requirements.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Norm, you're up.
All right, I request a motion to approve the buyback of lot 97, grave 8 and 9 in section 1B in Pierce Township Cemetery in the amount of $603.34 from Michael Batchelor, with Mr. Batchelor giving up all rights to said lot.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
All right, Norm.
I request a motion to approve the purchase of asphalt from Valley Asphalt Corporation in the amount of $3,354.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Any further discussion? Motion second. Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Norm?
I request a motion to approve the purchase of asphalt for the repairs of the hiker biker trail at Legendary Run not to exceed 15,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion, questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Norm, I think you're still up.
I request a motion to accept the lowest and best bid from Morton Salt Incorporated for the 2026-2027 winter season to purchase up to 1,200 tons of road salt for a cost of $136,116 at a rate of $113.43 per ton. That's dump delivery as ordered by Pierce Township.
Make the motion.
Seconded. Motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on the matter? 113 feels high.
That is $23.27 more than last year.
It's like every year it goes up 25,
Mhm.
23, it just keeps going up. But nonetheless, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Norm?
Request a motion for the resolution 2026-005, increasing Pierce Township cemetery rates effective July 23rd, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Here we go. It's you, Norm.
Request a motion to approve the first payment of the 2026 road resurfacing in the amount of $124,501.60 to the Claremont County Engineer. The second payment will be due August 30th, 2026 for $124,501.60.
Just to make that completely clear, the reason why we're paying these in two lump sums is because we're in the paving program with the county. The county bids it out as a mass so we can get a better price for blacktop. And we submit our projects with the dollar amount attached to those projects. And the goal here is that if you buy in mass, you'll get a better price. And we tend to get a little bit better price when we do it this way. So just wanted everybody to understand. I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
And Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Christine, you're up. This is for their engineering fees?
did not realize, construction point providers that have submitted for that project, that engineered plans would be required. So this is kind of like an add-on thing.
Well, that's mostly correct. We knew that they required engineered plans, but what happened was OKI came back later after they awarded the grant and said, we see your plans. We would like them to now be designed to ODOT's new standards, which had changed in the window when we were approved to present. And so there were a couple different items that changed in the interim, and they said, okay, well, now a additional design has to be done to the plans. And so that's,
So essentially, we can't access the OKI funds unless we do it the way OKI wants us to do it.
yes, that's right.
How much funds are we getting from OKI again? On this approximately, I mean, just put me in a
Christine
ballpark.
has the. It was
It's significant.
700,000.
700 and some change.
But this 158 is coming out of our pocket, right?
Yes.
But we are asking the next, recommended motion is to apply for OPWC, Ohio grant and ask for, include that amount that we weren't anticipating for the engineered plans
Gotcha.
to ask.
Okay.
Cool. That makes sense. No problem.
And I'm trying to get $85,000 to fix this horrible intersection, and I'm hearing all of these funds. And I'm sure there are different funds that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's completely ridiculous. You're preaching to the choir. It's just money that gets earmarked for silly stuff and grants and the whole thing. It's a big mess. But we're just cogs in the bottom of the machine here as trustees in the township. We do what we can. I don't agree. I'm not going to advocate for it. I don't agree with it. I wish we had a little more, money that could come from the state and the federal government to do things that are more practical and didn't require $158,000 engineering plan for a trail that probably cost $158,000 if you just did it out of the gate. But
That cost 85,000.
there you go. But anyways,
Yeah,
Tina,
we just did it on our own.
we digress.
But here's, just to explain, these funds come from a place called OKI, the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments is an agency that was put together by the federal government. That's always a good way to tell a story. It comes from the federal.
Alan's going to explain this much more artful than me.
Yeah. But anyway, they are tasked with distributing something on the order every, 3 years, distributing nearly $70 million worth of transportation related projects. Now, you would think we could go there, and I want to for this project. But they generally tend to be larger scale projects. And then they have another pot of money that they use for what they call non-traditional transportation related projects, which would include hike trails, bike trails, with the notion that theoretically someone would use that hike trail, bike trail to not actually have to drive from Sedona Ridge to, say, the library or to the post office around the corner. So it's something that a lot of communities do apply for this type of transportation project. And so that's what the $700,000, which we've been awarded from OKI, it includes. And you remember I said, you have to have a local match. Well, we are required inside that grant to provide a local match. I presume that we put up something on the order of $90,000. So those funds are what will back that up. Now we have another funding source that we can tap into to try to cover that. Now, then OKI came back and told us we didn't do their engineering the way they wanted it done. So now we have to find other money. That said, now there's another pot of money that comes from the state of Ohio. And so you lace these projects together, you lace these funds together, which is exactly what I want to do for White Oak, is to lace these transportation funds together. So it makes a fully funded project, right? So what Christine is going to try to do is she's writing an application right now to the Ohio Public Works Commission, the Clean Ohio Fund. And that's a group that's called it's a subcommittee of OPWC. They distribute across the state something on the order of about it's like $20 million statewide to protect green space and to do, they also do infrastructure work related to that green space. So what she's recommending that we do is that we apply for those funds to get another 384,000, which will cover that cost for OKI's, what I would call their screw up, but that's another matter. And then also to cover the local match that we discussed a few minutes ago. So that way, the township as a whole, if you use these grant projects collectively, then the township comes out of pocket with the least amount of funds possible, so that allows us to use our other resources to do other paving projects and do other construction projects. So the idea is you build these grants, stack them on top of each other, and that's how you save the township money and get projects done. So
Alan's right, but we didn't come up with the system. We're just operating it, and Alan's good at it. And so if we don't go for this money, somebody else gets it,
Right.
So we're trying to use it, get as much of this as we can to help the community. But unfortunately, it's not for the White Oak intersection.
but there are other funds, and that's what we have to be cracking on so that we do the same thing. I mean, there's a lot of other projects that, like, for instance, I guess shortly after I got elected, we were talking about Bradbury. And we had that discussion about fixing the Bradbury Road, which was about a goat path at a certain point. And so we were able to go stack money on top of money that we were able to utilize in that way to do that same sort of project and get that moving forward. We've done the same thing with grant projects inside the park. The learning center, the stage that's inside the park, that's another one that we layered different pots of money that were related. And so that way we were able to come up with a financial architecture that saved the township money. So we did with realigning the trails, with repaving some of the trails over at Locust Corner, and installing the stage, the bathrooms, and the concession area. All of that, we did that project, I think all told was about a $1.2 million project. And because we stacked the money the way we did, we were able to do all of that just utilizing local township dollars. We just paid $68,000 to do $1.2 million worth of work. And so if you can get that to all of those tumblers to fall into place, then you can get those funds. But Nick is right. It is a game you have to it's almost a game you have to play, that it doesn't always pay off. So we have to do the best we can to stack. I like to say that, I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but we're a small market baseball team, right? We're not Union Township where we've got all kinds of mechanisms to fund things. So we have to do the best we can and maximize every opportunity we can find. So I hope that helped. No, and that's perfectly, I mean, I get that. It's just, it's hard to explain, and it's project by project, how you stack that money to get it to work. So. The original engineering plan cost. That I don't know, Christine.
I don't have that number, but I can definitely get it for you. It was meant, and see, the thing was too, this project's been in the pipeline for 3 years at this point, so, and here we are kind of still, you apply
and that gets you to another point, because sometimes when you have to put these projects together like this, it does move at a glacial pace.
Yeah. And you have no idea, you can't tell the people of the township how much yours spent. It wasn't well.
What's the total project cost?
we can definitely come up with that number. I was just saying that it was, the design was done like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So I don't want to give you a number that is off by whatever.
Put you in the ballpark.
Yeah, I can get.
I could put you in the ballpark. It probably cost about $80,000.
All of this, Canadian,
It connects Sedona up to the library, so it's it's like around a quarter mile to a half mile. A little over a quarter mile. Quarter mile to a half mile.
$400,000 for a quarter of a mile.
Mhm.
You want to
spend that on Lewis Road or something like that? That might be a little better way to spend it.
It would be if you could use those monies that way. And the gentleman in the back,
Yeah, we know that, but I mean, just think of the practicality of it. You're gonna do a quarter of a mile trial and you're gonna.
Well, Stan, do you want to, I mean, we can't, some of this, we can't do anything. I mean, if you want to take on the state and the federal money laundering scheme that's laundering money into these engineering firms by setting legislation, then have at it. And you know what I mean? It's probably may or may not be what it is, my opinion, but it kind of looks like that.
And the other part too, it's this particular project was one of the ones identified completely just organically by the public through our public input sessions in 2023 over the summer. So we were asking kind of residents in various different neighborhoods what their priorities were. And this was just one that came up and received a number of votes through a public survey process and that sort of thing. So that's even how it got on the radar to begin with.
but I think just to make it completely clear, so that everybody understands it, once you get these funds, you're able to complete the project. You're spending way too much money.
Right. That's my.
But the idea is that you're utilizing money from another source that isn't directly township related money. So then I can go into the road and bridge fund and perhaps use that for the $35,000 to the $50,000 I need. So then I'm extending the amount of money that my township can utilize for other projects. So I'm using someone else's money, but I have to follow their rules when I do it. And their rules are absurd, to be sure. But at the end of the day, we have to do environmental. I mean, anytime you use federal dollars, which OKI, again, as I said, it's federal dollars, you can expect that price tag to go up double. But if we're finding other ways to stack that capital so that we're able to do as little out of our pockets, out of your pocket locally, I mean, to be honest, that's still out of your pocket, no matter what. The federal dollars, state dollars, that's out of your pocket, to be sure. But if we're able to do less of if our percentage comes out of our budget at a lesser rate, but we still get the project done that the community wants, then we overspend to get what we need, and then we're able to do twice as many projects. So that's what the point is. I don't like it, but this is the game that we're required to play.
I agree.
So let me tell you a fun story. I used to work for OKI back in about 2005. I was in charge of the alternative fuel program. Can you imagine that? We were trying to find ways to use congestion mitigation air quality funds, which is a pot of money designed for that very purpose. We were trying to use that and buy down the difference in cost between diesel fuel and an alternative to diesel fuel, right? So that schools and bus companies could use this amount of money. So basically we were asking for about $25,000, which would have put hundreds of buses out on the streets, not using diesel, but instead using an alternative to diesel, which was much cleaner and much more efficient, but it cost more money. So we just wanted the difference in price between base diesel and this other product. ODOT turned us down for that. I then later inquired, so if I have buses that are running on this, would you pay for the bus? The answer from ODOT was likely yes, they would pay for the bus. So at the end of the day, I can take $25,000 to do the incremental cost, or I can outfit a school with new buses at somewhere in the neighborhood at the time of about $180,000 to $200,000.
This is what happened in the Roman Empire.
But see, so Stan, it is crazy, but it is the rat race that this township finds itself in. And we're trying to extend as much of your tax dollars and get those projects done that you want done, the community wants done at a price you can afford locally.
Yep, the money's gonna be spent either way. We're trying to provide the maximum benefit to the residents of Pierce with what we're doing as trustees in that regard.
Doug,
So this grant, OKI, I think it's estimated cost of construction, is about $700,000. So $158,000 for engineers and drawings, that's over 22%. So $700,000.
it's about right.
They probably have a boilerplate computer program they use. Heck, I bet you AI is doing most of this.
Yeah, 22% are engineer drawings. Construction costs down. So I don't know if, should we get other quotes or what, but.
Good question.
A lot of money for that, so I don't know.
I'm inclined to go back to structure point because Doug is correct. 22%, I mean, generally speaking, engineering should only be 10% of total project cost. Right.
Yeah, it isn't just the engineer plans. It's some of the stuff you were mentioning. It was like evaluations, animal evaluations because of the area it's in, archaeological paperwork and things like that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it should be lost on any of us that like we don't disagree with you, and we.
Well, but
I know I
but
kind
Doug,
of have a feeling for what we're going to
engineering-
find through these things.
But Doug, engineering and environmental review would be probably about 24% of the project cost. I mean, it's pretty expensive. Cause you can.
All right, Tina, we just had a whole thing about that.
And
okay.
I just think
But the other thing I'll say for Mr. Dressy too is we did get another quote as well that came in it came in higher than this, but we're happy to do whatever you guys want.
Let's go back. Let's throw it back to structure point and see if they can sharpen some pencils and get it done. See if they can do a cheaper.
I don't know is that going to impact our OPWC grant window?
We don't have any.
Do you want to?
But I don't know the answer to that. We don't. It's up to whatever.
What's your concern? Share it with us.
Yeah.
I believe that those engineered plans need to be done relatively soon to stay on track for what's needed for OKI. But I don't know the exact date when they need to be done, but I remember it was close and we were hoping to move forward with that to guarantee that we wouldn't lose the OKI funding. So I'm not sure that the time frame, but I know it's tight.
We'll put it on hold. You guys want to hold?
Well, I mean, let's put it.
Like, I'm not gonna. We don't want to we're not trying to ram this.
So here we are on the 22nd.
So listen. Yeah.
But here's my concern. Here we are on the 22nd. Our next board meeting is literally almost 2.5 weeks off.
Right.
So if we were to put a pin in this and come back in that next board meeting, talk to Structure Point and see if that dollar amount can be shaved and see what can be amended out of that. And then basically tell OKI, they can pretty much kiss my behind. We'll get this done when we get this done and they can just bite it. If you're good, I'm going to stop right there. This is the same organization that, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll stop there.
If 2 weeks makes or breaks that bad of a thing, then I think
Right.
that's an issue in and of itself. So let's just come back to it.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll come back.
If they get some help, there's what are these environmental costs, why it's 22% of the construction. That's amazing.
It's might not be 22% though. That's the problem because there's another 300,000. this might actually be another question that we should clarify too. I'm still going to hold it until our next board meeting. But when you're looking at, you're asking for 384,557 plus the 700,000 that we already have, then that's total project cost of somewhere a little over $1 million. It reduces.
We'll
Right.
put a pin in it and we'll come back to it. Does that sound good?
Tell them that we need our questions answered, and then tell OKI they can kiss my butt for the moment. We'll be there when we're ready.
All right.
All right, moving on. What do we have that's next? Christine, you have the grant for OPWC.
Wow.
No, let's move forward with that one. So let's go ahead and move forward with that one for the reason that if we get it, because that grant is coming due, at least we know that we've got the 384,557 to cover that project cost. So that way we're not behind the 8 ball on applying. We do know that that process moves fairly quickly because we've been through that process. So once we apply in August for funding for that project, then we'll know by September that we actually were funded by it. So then it changes the dynamic because now OKI is put behind the 8 ball because now they're the ones that put us behind the 8 ball. We have the local match. Where are you? Make sense? Also, remind me, we are usually on a 3-year cycle with OKI. Am I not right? Once we get granted the funds, we're allowed 3 years to spend the money. So it will be spent in which fiscal year?
We actually might even have a little more time than that for this particular project. I think that they have the timeline with, I think, anticipated construction beginning in 29, 30.
Well, there you go. Even
Yeah.
more reason we go ahead and get this, and that puts pressure back on OKI because I got the local match and we know somebody that's going to advocate for this project on the board. So let's put pressure back on OKI. Let's go ahead with that. I make the motion to move forward with putting in that grant
Okay,
request.
so do we want her to read this full?
Yes, we
motion for
do.
19?
Yes, we do.
Initiate the OPWC Clean Ohio grant for the Jenny Lynn Trail. Total ask amount is anticipated to be $384,557. The 25% local match would be $96,139. Funds may be drawn from the Glen Mary tip.
But not if we can find another way to pay for that, but we'll stick with what we have because we have to put that in the grant. It's another trick you have to have local match that passes the red face test. So you identify where it's going to come from. I would change that from TIF money to just generalize that, say it's coming from township resources. Just leave it at that. Not be specific about whether it's coming from the TIF or not.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to approve as stated with the slight adjustment of taking off the last, everything after the comma. So no taking off the part about funds may be drawn from Glen Mary TIF. Just approve
But in your
it as stated.
But in your grant request, where it says local match, show the local match, but just say township resources instead of being specific, because then the goal would be we'd find another place to come up with the $96,000
Right.
before 2029. All right, we have a motion. I'll second it. Any further discussion? This is how, I'm sorry to say this, but this is how. No, you didn't.
Well, the explanation was the same as the first one, as it's the system is how it is. Yeah.
But it is the game we are required to play. You know.
We solicited to the residents around this area, what do you need? And at any point was it questioned about, is it worth doing this small amount of space to for the solicitation of what do you want in your area?
Yeah, we went through a lot with that. We solicited feedback from residents. We had multiple meetings. We had up there in that area at one of the schools or something, we have boards and stations set up and all kinds of options and the whole thing. Yeah, we did vet that quite a bit. I'm not going to get on the side of advocating for the silliness of how it all works, but we did solicit feedback. All right.
I could tell, I could spend another 3 hours here telling you horror stories about various pots of money and the games you have to play to get it. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. This tends to oftentimes be far more inefficient. And I don't necessarily believe that good projects necessarily win the day versus sometimes political games win the day. And, you know, I can identify at least one funding source which is so political, and it's a $4 billion pot of money that the state of Ohio uses that should never be that. It ends up going to organizations that could have paid for it themselves, but it doesn't benefit the local community that needs the resources. What we need are projects like, okay, I will come out with funds, but they don't pay for things as pedestrian as pavement. And that's what local communities, that's what we need more than anything else. We need to repave. We need to redo roads like White Oak. We have more immediate needs, but all of their ideas are far more grandiose. And they're always, we need this or this sort of thing that we're looking for, or this kind of community need that we're trying to address. And it's usually stuff that we can't use. And we end up not being eligible for these grants when, point of fact, we're the ones that we need it the most, you know, because a lot of our resources, they're going away. And, you know, more and more of that's getting frustrating and being put down onto property taxes, which everyone knows those are not very popular right now. But the state legislature gives us no other way to fund them. And so, you know, that's one of the things that needs to be addressed. More funds need to be invested in local communities for the things that the communities need, not for these plans and these ideas that other organizations think are priority. Nick is by and large correct. This has been a boon for, and it's painful for me to say that. But a lot of these regulations have been a boon for engineering firms and environmental organizations. And, you know, so it just causes you to spend twice as much money or 3 times as much money on a project than you really should, but you can't lift it otherwise. You can't get it done without that kind of input or that kind of cash. So anyway, moving on. Yes,
So
Debbie's telling me to move on.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly
Yes.
and Mr. Fruit.
Yes, now.
Where this trail is it like close to, do a lot of kids be using it?
Do you know where St. Bernadette is? Do you know where St. Bernadette Church is? It's basically, it would basically run, as I recall, it runs parallel to Jenny Lind Road. There's a green space area that's directly across the street from St. Bernadette. And so it would run along that roadway, parallel to that roadway, and then curl around toward where the library is, with the additional notion that you would eventually be able to connect Sedona Ridge, that area, connected all the way through, theoretically, over time, to the library, to the post office, to the Amelia Elementary School, to the east, and then to the west, you could hit Kroger, and that development on that side. So the community would then have, and this is something that a lot of communities have been investing in because a lot of people, generally your age, are looking for a community that's walkable. It's connected. And so when you do those investments, the gamble to some degree that you're playing is that you're going to draw that kind of investment into the community. So we would end up having, we would draw development because we're walkable. That's the kind of thing they're looking for. It starts to improve a community. And so you start to see a growth pattern that you can, gain from as a community. When we did our land use plan, we decided, stop tapping your pencil. I'll get there. We noticed that the average age inside of Pierce Township is actually going up. And so one thing you have to be mindful of is that when that median age is at 54 or 56, you have to have a community that has all layers, all ages. And so it's, the buy the starter home, move up to the next home, and then move into your retirement home. So you can keep that population inside your community. So projects like this is a piece of that investment, hoping that we could get the next piece, the next piece, and the next piece. So you get that kind of growth pattern for our community. That's more than you ever wanted to hear. And it's definitely more than Debbie wanted to hear. So I'm moving on. All right. So we get to move into an executive session. This is another opportunity for all of you to leave. So we're going to move into an executive session. Don't know that there's going to be any activity when we come out of it. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I'm not saying that there will be. But I'm looking for a motion to adjourn into executive session as permitted by Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G3 to conference with the township attorney to discuss imminent or pending litigation.
So moved.
Got a motion, and I will second that.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm looking for another motion to enter into executive session pursuant to RC 121.22G6, details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body when disclosure of matters discussed could reasonably be expected to jeopardize the security of the public body.
So moved.
Seconded. Now, again, roll call.
Yes.
We'll go into executive session, then we'll come back after executive session. Thank you. All right, I'll be back up. Okay, was that a thumbs up? I couldn't see, it's dark over there. Okay, cool. All right, can I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So move.
Second that, roll call.
Yes.
Yes. We discussed many things. It was a wonderful time. And nothing is going to come before this board tonight for additional action. Therefore, we can fire all the way through public comment because we already did it. And now we're up to adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Yes.
Yes.